Constipation can be a serious issue, and the only two things you're usually being told is to drink more water and to eat more fiber. So today I want to focus on yet another aspect of constipation, and that is the connection to the thyroid, and again, two nutrients that will speed up your thyroid and may relieve you of constipation permanently. So personally, I would say that you're constipated if, first of all, you have pain going to the toilet, or if you go to the toilet less than every 3 days and your stool looks like type 1 or type 2 on this chart. Really, just because you haven't been on the toilet for a day or two doesn't mean you're constipated, and you shouldn't drive yourself crazy with all of this fiber nonsense out there. More isn't always better, and more isn't always what you need. So what is the connection between your thyroid and your digestion? Your thyroid is a gland located just beneath the Adam's apple and controls your metabolism, which is a term that describes how fast your body uses, so metabolizes energy. It mainly produces thyroid hormone T4, which is the inactive form, and calcitonin, which helps you to regulate calcium in your blood. By the way, calcium itself can also constipate you. For more information, you can check out this video. T4 has to be turned into T3, the active thyroid hormone. T3 is what really has an effect on your metabolism. When there's more T3 inside your cells start to work faster, which also increases your hunger a lot. So, contrary to popular belief that a faster metabolism will lead to a lower body fat percentage, in most cases, it just affects your hunger. By the way, I'm talking about all cells, so including brain cells, cardiac cells, and so on. Everything starts to work faster, and that of course includes your digestion and the speed at which your intestines push the food. A common symptom of hypothyroidism, so too much thyroid hormones, is actually diarrhea. One thing that we don't want either. We want to have a normal digestion. And so other signs of a slow thyroid besides constipation are dry skin, intolerance to cold, estrogen dominance, and by the way, women are usually a lot more affected by thyroid issues, and that is due to estrogen, and especially in changes in estrogen. I'm talking period, pregnancy, and menopause. Concentration issues are also a common sign, and sometimes even hair loss. So that is one side, and now let's take a look at the liver and its connection to the thyroid. The liver is very important for nutrient absorption, storage, detoxification, and the digestion of fat. Whenever you eat something, your gallbladder releases bile, which is actually being produced by your liver. Your gallbladder just stores and releases it. The more fat you eat, the more bile is being released, because bile is needed for the digestion of fat. Bile actually lubricates the intestinal lining, so it helps to get everything moving through, to keep everything hydrated sort of. Now there's a very direct connection between your thyroid and the amount of bile released. So that means the more thyroid hormones you have, the more bile you release, and that also means the less thyroid hormones you have, the less bile you release. At some point, this will reduce the lubrication to a point of no lubrication at all. At that point, you need to drink more and more and more water just to get things moving, and at that point, you might be overhydrating already. So really, one thing to keep in mind is that most problems related to health are multidimensional and multifactorial. As you may have noticed, water may not be the issue with your constipation. And if you needed water so bad, you would be thirsty. So try to address your problem from several angles and see what helps most. Now we are gonna get to the nutrients in a second, because apart from you missing the nutrients for your thyroid in your diet, you could, for example, have an undiagnosed thyroid issue. Hypo always means too little and hyper always means too much. So we are talking about hypothyroidism, and a common problem is Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disease affecting your thyroid. Basically, your immune system attacks your own thyroid, and as a result of that, your thyroid is not working at optimal speeds. Now, just because you have constipation does of course not mean that you have Hashimoto's. I just want to point you into some directions. You can research the symptoms of Hashimoto's or get it tested, or if this is all too complicated for you, you can reach out to me For consultation, just check the video info. You could also have an overload of toxins in your liver from the pesticides and other chemicals in our modern food. The conversion from T4 to T3 is actually happening in your liver, and if your liver is full of toxins, then you end up having less T3 and less bile release. You may want to check out my liver detox video. Now let's get to the nutrients. The first nutrient important for your thyroid is iodine. Iodine is vital for the production of T4, so the inactive thyroid hormone, precursor for T3, the active form. A lot of people nowadays believe that we get enough iodine from our salt because our salt is iodized. After all, that is just a belief, and while it does prevent you from getting goiter, it does not mean that it supplies you with optimal amounts. You would have to use a lot of salt to get to optimal amounts, a lot more than what I would recommend or what tastes good. Now, of course, you can take iodine as a supplement in the form of sea kelp or potassium iodine, but I encourage you to get it from food. So the best sources of iodine are seafood. However, considering the pollution of our oceans, I only recommend to have seafood once or maybe twice a week. You definitely want to go for wild caught fish. All the other fish that you can find in your local stores is farm raised with lots of antibiotics and other drugs. Now, if you have access to a non-polluted sea, great, have as much seafood as you want. Another great source of iodine are potatoes, as I found out. Nevertheless, that really depends on the quality, and so you do want to make sure that they are the highest quality, at least organic. The more yellow and tasty they are, the higher they are in nutrition. Now, I know that in many parts of the world, like America, it's hard to find potatoes that aren't purely white, so maybe consider taking this as a supplement after all. I would go for 50 micrograms or maybe 100 micrograms per day and see how you feel. I researched the correct forms for a few countries, so you don't have to waste your money on anything wrong like I sometimes did in the beginning, and just check the links in the video description. By the way, don't be surprised, your hunger and body temperature will increase a lot. If this is getting too much at some point, or maybe you're also getting arrhythmias, heart palpitations, something like that, definitely stop taking the iodine. For a few days, maybe even weeks, you definitely have enough iodine. Now, the next nutrient might be a lot more important than iodine, and that is because a deficiency in it is far more common. I'm talking about selenium. Selenium is part of the essential minerals that you can see on my list and that our body highly depends on. By the way, you can download this list for free through the links in the video description. So now, we are not taking anything extra, we are taking something our body depends on. Now, selenium is very important for the conversion from T4 into T3, the active thyroid hormone. Besides that, selenium is very important as an antioxidant for your thyroid. How would that be important? That is important for thyroid diseases like Hashimoto's that we talked about earlier. Now, selenium is one of these nutrients that you will only find in foods grown on very good soil. I also have to warn you about this nutrient. Too much selenium is very hard on the liver and can cause diabetes. Too little causes many problems as well. Now, every nutrient can be damaging in excess, but selenium is a bit more dangerous if you overconsume it for a long time. And I've actually made first-hand experience with that, and that's the reason I'm telling you this. Having said that, most people are very deficient in selenium, and good sources of it are oats, beef, and white beans. Now, if you do want to get enough, you should pick the highest quality. For the beef, definitely grass-fed, and the oats and white beans organic, and have 2 of these foods per day. This will get you out of the deficiency, especially if you consume beef and especially if the beef is grass-fed. Alternatively, you can take this as a supplement, just be very gentle with it. Brazil nuts are incredibly high in selenium and also kind of count as a supplement. Now, I would only go for Brazil nuts if you find organic Brazil nuts, otherwise just choose a supplement. I put a few links down below again. Just try to find the lowest dosage possible. Perfect is 50 micrograms, but even I usually just find 100 micrograms. 100 micrograms should be taken once or maybe twice a week, and 50 micrograms according to that. In terms of Brazil nuts, one Brazil nut is roughly 100 micrograms. So just slice one Brazil nut into 2 pieces to get 50 micrograms each. If you ever take too much of this, you can get dizziness, weird smell in your nose, insomnia, heat, high blood pressure, or diabetes symptoms like a poor vision and a lot of hunger. You can also get a swollen throat and a dry cough. Now again, you probably need selenium and there's no need to be scared. I just don't want to send you down a road at which you get the next problem in 2 years because you overconsume on Brazil nuts and don't know what's going on. In today's world, we want everything now and right now, but have a bit of patience with your health issues sometimes. Sooner or later, you're gonna find the root cause, and if not alone, then maybe with my help, the absolute best way that I can help you is through a private consultation. Again, if you're interested, the links are in the video description. Now, I hope that you can fix your issue, and as always, have a great day.